Alright, we're continuing on Chapter 2's lecture on workplace safety. And what we're going to talk about in this mini section is routes of disease transmission. Alright, so contagious diseases, we're all familiar with the many different contagious diseases out there like HIV, tuberculosis, hepatitis, the flu, the common cold, and so on. One thing that is kind of common sense is that we don't think about how contagious diseases are also infections. Whenever they are caused by either a bacteria or a virus that infects our body and then multiplies until our immune system with the aid of antibiotics or other type of medications can overcome them and destroy them. And some of these infectious diseases stick with us our entire life. Our immune system may be able to suppress them and so on, but some like HIV cannot be overcome for the most part, which I do believe they are making strides in that area. So an infectious disease is caused by, of course, an infection, which is common sense. And here you have a picture of someone's hand who has an infection, and which could be caused by nail biting, could have been caused by nail biting. Maybe they scratched themselves, got a splinter there, or who knows what. But regardless, the infection has occurred, and if the body cannot get it under control, and if with the assistance of medical doctor, cannot get it under control with the use of antibiotics or antiviral medications, then the human will succumb to that infection. One thing it does say here, which is kind of interesting if you can see, it says only some infectious diseases are contagious, which is kind of neat to think about because we think about almost everything being contagious, but it's not. Some diseases, like certain cancers and so on, are not spread from person to person and are not contagious, which is good for us because that means that we, as healthcare providers, have less of a chance of contracting that by just coming in contact with someone. So, routes of transmission. Contagious diseases can be transmitted from one person to another by, of course, direct blood contact or just direct contact by shaking hands or contact with other body substances which could cause it. For an example here, they give the example of blood, which is what you could come in contact with. Indirect contact would be like a needle stick, or even think about this: if you are working a wreck and someone had injured themselves by getting cut with glass, and if that same piece of glass was still there and then you came along and got cut by it, well, then that would be indirect. You have airborne transmission, like from coughing and sneezing. It looks like our guy there in the picture, he's about to sneeze it up for us, or somebody ought to get ready to say bless you. Foodborne transmission, and this is from contaminated food, which can come in the form like we hear about all the time, like hepatitis A is spread through contaminated food. You also have E. coli and stuff like that that's caused or is spread by food. And then we have vector-borne transmission, which can be spread by mosquitoes, which is the West Nile virus. Is a big thing right now. And then you have also, it says here, fleas. What about dog bites or just animal bites in general? It could be one route of infection too. So also, for those of you who follow the zombies, you know the zombie virus. I'm joking. But anyway, on The Walking Dead, that would be a vector-borne, I guess you could say. But anyway, well, that concludes this section for the routes of transmission. I know these sections are short, but I'm just trying to keep it where you're not too overwhelmed by this chapter. So I hope that this was beneficial, and as always, please contact me if you have any questions. Thank you.